Welcome back to my channel. I'm Sigourney Rosario, and today we are going to be talking about my military career. I'm super excited. I'm gonna put you on to the T about my whole journey, how for 3 different jobs, how I've been stationed at a whole bunch of different locations, and pretty much I just wanna, just talk a little chit chat. So if you're interested, stay tuned and let's go ahead and hop into the video. So my Air Force journey started. I actually went in open contract. So I went in open admin. And when I went to basic training, I was able to do like a rack and stack of jobs. So after graduating from basic training, I got notified that I had booked the job vehicle maintenance, which is also known as fleet management. And my first duty station was Tyndall Air Force Base in Florida. So I'm originally from South Carolina, so Florida was ideal. I was able to drive back and forth from home, and I also was able just to spend time with my family, and I just love Florida. So I get to Florida, and I was really immersed into like the beach. I was really immersed into spending time with friends. I am definitely a social person. I always have been. I probably always will be. And I was just always in the water. I was always jet skiing, fishing. I had a lot of Caucasian friends, and they just always used to be out in the water. And I had never been exposed to that. I honestly had never been exposed to like, hey, we about to go get on the boat. You want to come? I'm like, sure, let's go. I didn't know how to swim, but I was always down for the cause. So I started off again, fleet management. So my job entailed pretty much like the O'Reillys of the Air Force. We were in charge of picking up parts, helping out the mechanics, making sure they had everything that they needed. Also was in charge of just different part orders and just making sure that, everything was running smoothly when it came down to the vehicles. While also at my first duty station, this is my first time having to experience toxic leadership. And so for me, it really kind of threw me off because I just didn't understand why people were so just hateful and mean and rude and nasty to me for no reason. I didn't understand the whole like rank dynamic because again, I came in with a degree. I came in very independent. I came in as a college graduate. So for me, I was like, who do you think you are? You know what I mean? So rank really was nothing to me. And so I think that caused a lot of clashing between me and leadership. But I definitely had a hard time adjusting those first couple of years. I was planning on getting out after my first enlistment, but here we are today. Another thing that happened during this time at my first duty station is that I launched Letters for Life Foundation. So this is the first, I guess, creative project that I had in my business, in my nonprofit, and it really took off. So I was writing letters and it caught on and people found out about it. I was in the news, I was in newspapers. It was really like a really big deal for me. But that was my first exposure to being in my purpose, to being in my gifting, to knowing, hey, I had something great. And so that was my first thing, my first project. And I feel like that was my first step. That was God, saying, okay, this is a little something. And it panned out and there was a lot of exposure from that. And that was really good. I felt like, okay, I have something. This is great. How I ended up leaving Travis is there was a hurricane that hit. And so Hurricane Michael hit, and we pretty much had to relocate back home. And then all of us got new orders. So I was back home for about 6 months. And then I got orders to California. So this is my next journey. So I take pretty much all my stuff, my family, we drive all the way from South Carolina to California, and I get orders to Cali, and here we are. So in California, this is the first time I'm not around my family. I don't have any friends nearby. I am in this new environment on the West Coast, and it was very different for me, very, very different. So I go to my second duty station. So I get checked in and they told me, okay, you're going to be still in fleet management because fleet management has 2 different sections, material control or fleet. And they just told me I was still going to be in fleet. So I'm like, okay, cool. I do this. Now at this juncture, I now have people underneath me because at this point, I think I'm a staff about to be tech, maybe. So I have 5 or 6 people underneath me. So it reminds me of David in the Bible about how God elevated him slowly and slowly and slowly. And that's pretty much how my life looks. So at this point, I have 7 people underneath me, 7 different personalities, 7 different issues, 7 different family members, like 7 different situations. It was so hectic during that time. managing so many troops and having to deal with all their issues. And all my troops had issues. Like everybody had something going on. I'm like, oh my gosh, why? And so that was a very difficult time. In that season, I arrived to California. I get all these new troops. I also realized, hey, you've been tasked to deploy. During that time, the Holy Spirit was really just talking to me about my gifting and my calling and what I'm kind of called to do. And that's when I started writing my first book, Puzzle Pieces of Purpose. And so I start my journey of writing the book while I'm deployed, and I finished the book. And by the time I get back, I had got my master's degree. And I also had finished my first book. And so everything is going good. I'm like, okay, cool. I got the hang of things. At this point, my leadership is amazing. My leadership is amazing. I absolutely love my leadership team. I had a good groove. I'm writing my books. I'm in my purpose. Everything is going good. Then one of my supervisors comes to me and he's like, hey, I have an opportunity for you to be at the MSG CAG, which is the Commander's Assistance Group Program. I tell him absolutely not, because at this point, this is working for the group commander. And I already did not like working with around officers. I already did not like being around higher ranking people. I love being in the background naturally. So to be working for the group commander, I was like, I'll pass. Thank you. And he was like, no, I think you would be a good fit for this. I need you to put your name up for submission. Put my name up for it. And they said, hey, yep, you've been selected. So again, God took me from the background, fleet management, took me from that all the way up to being a supervisor in fleet management. Now he's taking me to work for the group commander. At the group commander group level, it's almost like every detail matters. There's a lot of pressure to be perfect. There's a lot of pressure because you're in charge of squadrons. So I went from being in charge of people, troops, to now being in charge of 6 or 7 squadrons. And so the level is different when you're at that level. But I was able to kill it. I was able to crush it, manage it. It was a lot. It was very stressful because at this point, I'm not calling a sergeant and telling them, hey, you missing this report. I'm calling squadron leadership. Hey, commander, such and such. You need to turn in your report, sir. You know what I mean? So it's a huge responsibility, but I feel like God placed me in that role for a reason. I was able to see things from a large level, and I was able to kind of feel more comfortable working with officers, working with group commanders, lieutenant colonels. And I think that definitely prepared me for where I'm at right now. Also, during this season in California, I had written my second book. So again, we already had Letters for Life. We already had Puzzle Pieces of Purpose. Now we're working on Queendom. So Queendom was released during that time. And this is also when I started kind of planning for self-love stationery, kind of started putting everything together with that. And then I released Queendom. So everything went good for that. Everything is good. So I'm working at the group CAG. I'm writing my books. I had built such a good support system in California. I'm visiting family here and there whenever I can during the holidays. Everything is good. I'm like, okay, I can do this. Then special duty assignments come down. And for special duty assignments, I had to put my name down for it. I didn't want to, but I had to. So they do the rack and stack and they're like, hey, do you want to be an MCI? Do you want to be a recruiter? Do you want to be MCL? Yada, 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 and such and such. So I got notified, hey, you've been selected to be a recruiter. I'm like, man, as soon as I get comfortable, God is making me uncomfortable again. So I got notified that, you've been selected to be a recruiter and you're going to be stationed in Rome, Georgia. So I was not excited about it because I knew I was going to be near Atlanta. I honestly did not think I was going to like Atlanta. Love it. Okay. Love it. But I was like, okay, cool. It is what it is. It is what it is. We're going back to the East Coast. I'm happy. All right. So now, fast forward to where we're at right now in our season. I am still a recruiter. My recruiter tour is actually about to end very, very soon. So I depend on which route I go, either if I make master, if I make lieutenant, or if I just stay as a tech sergeant, either or. I'm not really sure where God is going to place me at, but I will be getting orders very, 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 very soon. And I'll be taking another journey to a different career field. So for me, I've had a very good experience when it comes down to different career fields. I haven't stayed in a career field very long. I also haven't stayed in a location very long. And now I'm at the juncture of being a recruiter. So again, my job is to put people in the Air Force, Space Force. I'm an hour from Atlanta, which I love, near family, near friends. And as soon as I got here, I released my third book, Motherless. And so we did that. And I also released Self Love Stationery. So that's pretty much my stationery brand. Everything has affirmations on it so that you're reminded of your worth. So we sell journals, notebooks, pens, stickers, all of the things. And so I was able to do that while I'm here. So it seems like, wow, she has a lot going on, but every step of the way, God has been with me. Every step of the way, I've had mentors. Every step of the way, I've had an amazing support group, amazing friends, amazing family. So it's not just me. But I wanted to do a video just so that you can see, you may feel like you're going to be stuck in one career field your whole life. You're not. You may think you're going to be stuck at a base your whole life. You're not. There's so many different opportunities in the Air Force for you to advance, for you to, change careers, change bases, but you just have to know about everything. And honestly, you just have to remember that God is with you. God has your back. God knows exactly what you need, when you need it, and how you need it. And, just take your time. Just take it little by little, step by step, and just know that everything is going to work itself on out. So what's next for me? I have been in the Air Force for 9 years. It's about to be 10 years this year. And so I only have 10 more years left before I can retire. My family keeps saying, you going to do more than 20? No. No. As soon as I retire, I'm gonna be a full-time entrepreneur. You're really not gonna be able to tell me nothing. You're not gonna be able to tell me anything. But the next step is we're just looking to see what God got going on. If I'm gonna be a master, or if I'm gonna be a tech, or if I'm gonna be a lieutenant, that's really gonna play a huge role on how things go. If I get orders, where I'm going, and all the things. Ideally, I would like to still be stationed on the East Coast. I was thinking about going overseas because I'm like, I've never really been stationed overseas, but I think I like the East Coast better. I think I really want to just continue to run my business, continue to, expand Letters for Life, continue to expand Self Love Stationery. I do have more books on the way. Hint, hint. I don't want to talk about it too soon, but just know more books are coming. And I'm going to take y'all on the journey while I'm writing. I'm actually going to be very ambitious and try to write 2 books in 1 year, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Different problem for a different day. But I just wanted to let you know this is my journey. Obviously, everybody has their own journey, but just know that there's so many different opportunities for the Air Force for you to advance. And let me know down below, what's your journey? Have you traveled overseas? Have you only been at one base? What's your current job? Let me know your career. If you need encouragement, or you know somebody else that may need a little bit of encouragement, please write into my foundation, Letters for Life, where you receive a free handwritten letter of encouragement back to you. As always, I love you, but most importantly, though, God loves you. I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.